time to get the employee additions post 4 months. But with our system, since everything is integrated and it's the real-time data we provide, all that information flows.
Okay, wonderful. So let's start with the webinar. I'm just going to share my screen. And so, hi everyone, welcome to Tatan's webinar, where the topic for today is a unified API for simplifying customer onboarding and managing life cycles. We are your host today. I'm Harshita Gupta. I'm handling product marketing at Tatan, and I have with me Tarun, who handles senior product who handles the product team at HRMS Sync vertical at Tatan. So let's dive into it. Today's agenda are the following that you can see on our screen. We're gonna discuss about the challenges, the common issues that the industry faced during the client onboarding, and then we're gonna share the solution that we have came up to resolve those challenges, and then we're gonna explain the benefits of implementing our solution, which is Start and HRMS Sync, and a very small case study which would tell you the industry specific applications, and a live demonstration of our product on our exclusive product on our console, and a very short Q&A session where you can feel free, you can drop down all the questions that you have in the chat box. We'll be happy to resolve each and everything at the end of the session. So yeah, I think I would give the board to Taran. And Taran, can you help me with discussing all the challenges that usually the industries face while onboarding any client, any corporate?
Sure, Harshita. Firstly, thank you so much for the introduction. Hi, guys. So let's get started. So let's firstly talk about like the common issues faced during client onboarding for B2B companies, right? So like to kind of illustrate the challenges faced in the current onboarding process, let's consider a corporate travel company. This company regularly receives data from multiple clients, and each of them use different data transfer methods. Some might be using CSVs, some might have an FTP server setup where they constantly upload CSV files, right? And these pose a lot of challenges for this corporate travel company per se, wherein they have to handle a variety of data formats because each client sends information in CSV files but can have different and varying formats because all the clients have a different customization request as well. So some companies have to send some amount of data, some might have to send some different type of data. So there is no consistent format which is there in place. This inconsistency makes it challenging to integrate the data seamlessly into the company system. Now, like, let's talk about the diverse data transfer methods, right? Like, these companies, some might have HRMSs, some might not have HRMSs and kind of operate on CSVs, some might have FTP servers set up. Now, for this corporate travel company, they have to handle all these different methods of data transmission to service their clients, which kind of takes in a lot of developer effort. And also, they also need to take care of the constant updates and maintenance, wherein these clients can have changes in the organization, right? Wherein people are getting added in the organization, people are exiting the organization. Let's say somebody is getting promoted. So all that information, right, is provided by the HR of the client to this corporate travel company. Now, these updates come in a very different formats. Like some HRs just directly send them updates of creating an account via WhatsApp, which are very unsecured channels. The CSV files are shared over email or FTP servers. So these are the challenges which a corporate travel company usually faces. And to put that into context, in the industry, while gathering data during client onboarding, some other challenges also include data accuracy and completeness, wherein incomplete data is the biggest issue. Why? because mostly when the employee data is provided, it is missing key details, which leads to delays and additional follow-ups are required, which in turn slow down the onboarding process. Also, in the industry, currently CSVs and FTPs are the primarily used data transmission methods. And we should also consider data security and privacy into the picture. So compliance with regulations like SOC 2 is very important while handling employee data because we don't want to have any data breaches, and it also enhances the trust wherein you have the authentication to handle customer data efficiently and as per set standards. By that, I was just highlighting what I said before, wherein like sharing data through insecure channels like WhatsApp groups poses significant risk. Similarly, if you share employee data via email or FTP servers without encryption, right, it can be potentially intercepted and there can be unauthorized access. Also, these CSV files, right, there is no role-based access control, meaning anyone with a file can read or modify its contents, which also increases the risk of data breaches. So, to sum it up, gathering employee data during onboarding has a lot of challenges. And but by focusing on three parameters like accuracy of data, the secure transmission of data, and also standardizing all the approaches, organizations can significantly improve their onboarding process. Harshita, can you change the slide? Right. So now we notice that in HRMSs, these are systems which are being used at the corporates and they already have all the information which are required by, let's say, the corporate travel company. So guys also would want to introduce two terminologies. One is a vendor and one is a client. Vendor in this case is a corporate travel company. Let's say it could be a corporate bank, it could be a group health insurance broker, and client is basically the vendor's client who they want to onboard, and they are getting the employee data from their client. Like let's say, for example, a company called as Good Bank wants to onboard Samsung. So Good Bank becomes the vendor who wants the data seeker, and Samsung becomes the client who is the data giver. Now, in Tata, we realize that all the data which is required by these vendors are available on the HRMS, which is getting used on the client, and basically it the data source is also really good because the data is directly getting filled in from the employer. So the source of truth is directly the employer, which kind of reduces the chances of fraud in that data. And then we kind of developed HRMS Sync, which is a unified API which establishes safe and secure connections with your client's HRMS for quick access to organizational data, which include employee, bank, and salary information in real time. So, like let's say it helps in simplified corporate onboarding, wherein like if a company wants to share the data, right, they can just provide certain credentials using which we can form a connection with the payroll, fetch the data the HR has given us access to, and pass it to the vendor. So here, our unique proposition is that you only have to integrate with one Tartan API, and we provide you access to over 50 plus HRMSs, data from 50 plus HRMSs that are in our coverage. And there and it's a real-time connection, right? So we kind of provide you with real-time information on the incremental employee data as well, which is like employee additions, exits of employees, and let's say employee updations as well. So let's say if Harshita gets married tomorrow, in the update section, the data of her spouse will also get added, and we would provide that data to the vendor as well. This is particularly very helpful in the group health insurance industry, wherein they require endorsement data within a certain time period to cover all the people under a plan. Shut up, can Yeah. So just wanted to talk about a few benefits that our product has to offer. Firstly, like we kind of help decrease the CSM to client ratio, which is a very important parameter. I also would like to touch upon on how we are doing it. So, uh, with the help of our product, the CSMs are able to quickly onboard the clients, the challenges which they were facing during the onboarding process, and also the management of the client post onboarding. We have simplified that as well as automated it to an extent wherein no effort from their end is required. So automatically all the data is getting fetched and provided to the vendor, which provides them with time in which they can reach out to more clients and convert them. So this is a very important like benefit of our product. Also, we help in increasing the LTV of your clients. So there's this very popular neobank, which is our client. And what we saw with them was the CSMs, right? The corporate success managers who are tasked to get the data from the client, they were only able to kind of communicate with the client till a 4 month period. Basically, the any changes in the client's organization, they were only getting access to that data for 4 months post onboarding because post that they have so many clients and so many follow-ups have to be done, they lose track and they also don't have time to get the employee additions post 4 months. But with our system, since everything is integrated and it's the real-time data we provide, all that information flows to you constantly, right? So you never miss out on new employee additions, employee exits, or employee updations. So your system is in sync with the client's employees as well. We definitely reduce the TAT of employee data because there is no transfer of CSVs which is happening. There is no development effort required to set up FTP servers, right? Receiving real-time updates. So, since we form a connection with the client's HRMS at a particular frequency, which can be decided by the vendor, which is basically the corporate travel company or the corporate bank, they can receive updates. So let's say if Harshita joins starting tomorrow and the vendor has a sync frequency set up for a daily on a daily basis. So tomorrow, as soon as Harshita joins, I'll fetch data of Harshita from the client's HRMS and pass it to the vendor. So it happens instantaneously. We reduce developer effort because we handle and create all the integrations on our end. Even the maintenance is done on us so that so that the vendors have time to kind of focus on improving their GTM, onboarding more clients. Right. There are certain benefits for the clients of the vendor, right? Who we are calling the clients. Control over the data they choose to share. So what we realize that these HRs are very sensitive about what information is being shared with the vendors. So we have kind of in our product included this functionality wherein they have complete control over what data they want to provide to the vendor. So without their permission, no data will be sent to the vendor. There is secure data transfer, definitely, because we are SOC 2 and ISO compliant, and like we also have authorization and all the good practices on all of our APIs.
I think we have numerous SOC 2 compliances and all the compliance have been made here. So I think then you can touch point some of the certificates we have in terms of the data protection as well.
Right, so we are SOC 2 compliant. We have ISO 27701 and 2 as well.
Mhm. Yeah. So
Right.
yeah, that would be your data would be completely secured with us, and data transfer been done through your HRMSs to your product has been absolutely safe. So yeah, that covers this bit.
And just the last benefit for the client, right, wherein they don't have to upload any files, etc. Now the HR also does, we save time for the HR as well because since it's the systems who are integrated, right, they can directly just uh, like focus on their work and automatically the updates would be sent to the vendors. which usually was posing a lot of delay because it was a very time-consuming process when you have to collate data and send it to the vendor. So
Yeah.
these were the benefits of our product. Now, like talking about use cases, right? Like our product fits into various use cases, like let's say corporate banking, group health insurance brokers, corporate travel, expense management, like self-assessment platforms for ATS integrations. And we solve different problems in all of these use cases. Like say, for example, in corporate banking, what we do is we fetch the employee data and provide automatic whitelisting. And also we update the new bank account details which are created by the employee on the HRMS, which helps in directly increasing the savings account balance. In group health insurance, we kind of help with the quotations, the data which is required for getting the quotations from the insurer, the endorsement data which the HR has to provide to the vendor for incremental employee data, right? Let's say for midterm additions, if a person has joined, if a person has left, if a person got married, the dependent data flows into the vendor. But like let's take corporate travel as an example for our use case today to show how our product kind of streamlines their operations, especially when onboarding enterprise clients. We'll kind of delve deeper into how they utilize real-time data, automate workflows, and ensure seamless access control of their users, right? So in corporate travel, where our product fits in is in three main regions. One is the onboarding of employees, wherein let's take an example, right, Harshita? Name a company, or let's say a vendor, name any vendor,
Let's say good travel company or yeah.
and name a client, like any
Um,
suggestions?
Uber. Take an example of Uber.
Perfect. So now let's say good travel company wants to onboard Uber, right? So
Yeah.
let's say Harshita works for Uber. Now, let's say Harshita joins Uber today, and like the good travel company has a partnership with Uber. So when Harshita joins, the good travel company should be able to kind of create a access link for Harshita, basically create their account on their portal and give the credentials to Harshita that day itself so that she can utilize the corporate travel benefits which come with it. So we help facilitate that. How? Because firstly, what we do is, let's say, which HRMS do you suggest Uber uses, Harshita?
Let's say success factor.
Yeah. So what we do is, so Success Factor is one of the integrations of the 50 plus that are available with us. So over here, what's happening in the background is that the good travel, we form a connection with the Uber's HR's consent between good travel company and SAP Success Factor. Now, this is a real-time connection and this is already set up. Now, let's say when Harshita joins, we kind of pass through the system, we get that information and pass it to Good Travel Company. And using that, they can automatically trigger an email because they are instantly notified that Harshita has joined the company and they can trigger an automated email with the access credentials so that Harshita can instantly start booking the tickets and get benefits of the corporate travel program which Uber has to offer. Now, this same case can be used while kind of when employees are offboarded, right? Or employee exits happen, or when they are terminated. Because you would want the good travel company would want to instantly remove their access if they are not associated with Uber. And since we also provide like data points such as employment status and other qualitative data points, using that, Uber knows that, let's say Harshita leaves today, Uber joined and left on the first day. But still, so let's say Harshita leaves the company today. So we kind of notify Good Travel Company about that and they remove Harshita's access so that she can't make any bookings because there is, in the corporate travel plan, there is certain benefits given to the employees. So Harshita should not be able to access those. Also, there are a lot of customization requests in our corporate travel industry, wherein there is a very complicated approving manager workflow. So we also kind of automate good travel companies workflow in such a way that we provide them with details of, let's say, the manager, the skip manager, and other approval details from the HRMS as well. So they don't have to do anything. Everything has been set up, and once the system receives the data, all these functions are performed automatically. So, Harshita, this was pretty much the use case. Like, would you suggest we show a quick product demo?
Yeah, certainly. I think you that was a pretty good sum up regarding what we exactly do, and now we can jump right towards what exactly our product does in real life case. Uh, would you help me with sharing your screen then?
Sure, Harshita. Just let me know if it's visible. I'll just share it
Absolutely.
in a bit.
Yeah, we can see you.
Is my screen visible?
Yeah, it is.
So, guys, this is, let's say, this is the console which is provided to the vendor. So, first, the prerequisite for this is that the vendor needs to have a HRMS connection built with the client. And in order to do so, what the vendor has to do using this console, they only have to click on this invite client button and they have to enter few basic details about the corporate. They just have to enter the name, email address, the legal company name, and the mobile number. So let me just enter some dummy values. So when the vendor enters these details of the client, what we will do, we will trigger an email to the HR of the client with access credentials to our console. So the vendor's journey is done. They only had to send an invite to the client. Post that, whatever I would be showcasing is being done by, let's say, Uber's HR, for Harshita's example. So the Uber's HR receives a completely customized email as per the vendor's branding, and using this username and password, they can log into the console. So as an HR, I'll log into the console. Once I log into the console, I'll see a connection request from the vendor. I'll have to click on view. So over here, I would also want to explain why we have these three types of data transfer methods when we were talking about upload CSVs and FTPs as well, that they are not the best. So see, like due to certain uh, TG, which some of our clients target, over there, the HRMS penetration is not there, especially in the SME segment, wherein the number of employees are only between 1 to 50. So over there, all the operations happened via CSVs, hence we had to add this. And SFTP is a very secure transfer of data, wherein we get access to server credentials and then we fetch the CSV file. So it's a completely reliable and secure process. So we have these three modes of transmission. So now let's say I'll just show a demo of the HRMS connection. I'll select the mode as HRMS. I'll click on next. This is some of the coverage which we have with us. So let's say Uber uses Grady HR, for example. So post selecting Grady HR, Uber's HR has to enter certain mandatory parameters which are required for us to form a connection with Uber's Grady HR and the good travel company. And for that, like let's say if the HR is not aware on how to get these credentials from, for each of our integration, we have added a help documentation. So which is basically a pictorial guide on where to get these access credentials from. So let's say post getting the details, Uber's HR enters the details, they click on the consent checkbox, and they click on connect. Now over here, as we were mentioning, that the complete control of data is present with the HR, like what data they want to share with the vendor. So over here, let's say Uber's HR doesn't want to give access to the dependent details. They can either deselect particular data points or they can deselect the entire category as well. Suppose they have made that selection,
So I
they
think
can,
we have more than what 100 data points here from which we can gather the entire employer directory.
yes, Ashita.
Great, great.
Yeah,
So I think
yeah,
this was the dependent detail. Can you just open that field? This was the one you were mentioning for the use case of group health insurance. That
right.
once I have an insurance, and if I have if I get married, if I want my husband to get this insurance, so yeah, this would help me in the real time giving my details to the insurance company.
Right. So automatically your spouse's details would be fetched from your HRMS system and passed on to the vendor so that your spouse is covered under the GHI plan which your company provides to you.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
great.
So yeah, so post making the selection, the HR can click on submit, and this is a very simple three-step process, and also it's only a one-time process which the HR has to do. Post kind of giving the credential access one time, the HR now, based on your desired sync frequency, we can directly fetch certain details and pass it to the vendor, which kind of eases out the HR's lives as well. Now, just to show you the multitude of data points which we offer, which Harshita was also mentioning, I'll just quickly. So, also you saw that the onboarding literally took less than 2 minutes, right? Because once you have access to credentials, you just have to enter it, select what all data points access you want to give. So, within 5 minutes, you can onboard any corporate on our platform. And the HR also will be very interested because it's only a one-time process and they have complete control over what data is being shared. Now to see what data access we get, I'll just quickly show the data points collected for a particular employee. So as you can see, all the qualitative data points like employment status, the date of joining in group health insurance, for midterm additions, the date of birth, the communication details, for example, personal email. Let's say if you're a candidate screening platform, for sending the assessment links, you need certain communication modes, like, and we also provide these data points on the basis of which you can give customized offerings. Like, let's say, when your company wants to send you Diwali gifts, right? They can kind of also do a categorical wise thing wherein, like, let's say level one employees get certain gifts, level two employee gets certain gifts. So we also kind of help you with the grouping of data. So
Great.
that's pretty much it, Harshita.
Yeah, that was a live demonstration of our product. Um, I think it would be a great help for the different industry segments that can use this particular feature and get benefited. The same example goes to corporate travel. I think you mentioned that we also have a client in one neobank and a group health insurance as well. So that's great. Thank you so much for giving us a live demo, Taran. I think now we can head towards the Q&A session. I see there are some of the comments already here for you. Uh,
Sure.
so, yeah, I think I'm going to start with one of the questions that the attendings have asked. Hi, Taran. I was wondering how does incremental data transfer would work in the case of data sharing using CSV?
Right. So over here, the incremental data transfer in CSV, since there is no system setup, right? The HR will have to upload the CSV again. And on the basis of that, we have a very smart CSV flow, right? Wherein you, for the first time, the HR uploads the data, we receive the data. Now, for the incremental data upload, we provide complete flexibility in the hands of the HR, whether they only want to add data of the new joined employees or they want to again send complete load data. We handle both of those. And like as you would have seen in the industry, usually there are set formats for CSVs. We don't do that. We have a smart CSV flow wherein we tell you can upload the data in any format and we'll take care of it for our clients.
Great.
So in the case of incremental employee data, once the HR again uploads the CSV, we check for what all the other changes and then kind of just send the updates, which is the delta data to the vendor. Hopefully that answers your question. Like,
Yeah. So we have another question. I work in a corporate bank. How can it benefit my organization? So I think a great question. Again, a real life use case that hopefully we can do a very another webinar giving you an entire flow on how corporate banking can also get benefited. But the flow, exactly how the Taran mentioned, is the same for the corporate bank industries as well. Suppose tomorrow Taran has a bank. Let's say he has a SBI bank salary account bank, and now the corporate bank wants to switch to, let's say, good bank, right? So again, the details of Taran, the account details, HDFC, PAN, Aadhaar, and every single thing just goes around and get real time synced, and thus go for any other new joinees or different from the organizations as well, if someone is leaving or someone is joining. So yeah, that answers, and we would wish to connect with you as well. So Taran, I think this is another question for you. What is the real time data update latency in your system?
real-time data update latency. So,
Yeah.
see, so basically over here, I would like to answer it in two parts, right? First is that we fetch the data from the HRMS at a frequency which is defined by the vendor. So the first thing is on those lines where, let's say if a vendor sets a daily sync, in one day I will fetch data from the HRMS and provide it to you. Now, update latency over here in our systems, like, see, we are also dependent on certain third-party integrations, right? So we try to keep the latency as low as possible. Why? Because we can, if there's a delay from the third party and we can't do anything, right? But in our systems, there would be like close to 100 millisecond latency at max. Yeah.
That's great. Hope that answers to your question. I think we have a big question here. How does filtering and the data integration work if we want to apply customer business rules? For example, a subset of data should be registered in corporate plan A and a subset data of data in corporate plan 2.
Just let me
Yeah,
read this once again.
yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. How does filtering and data ingestion work if we want to apply custom business rules? So definitely. So to answer your question, over here we completely we not only provide data, we provide intelligence on data. By that, what I mean is, let's say a corporate, let's take a corporate travel company, for example, right? They provide, so we, for their client, we connect with their HRMS and provide them all the data. We can also apply certain post-processing rules on the data received, which would help you fulfill the question you asked in a way that, let's say, if good travel company tells that for a certain grade, if the approving manager email or if the approving manager is not of a certain grade, then there should be some other approving manager, like these custom rules, right? Just an example. So all of those can be set up in the front end of our system, and we provide all the data based on the post processing to you in any way you want, like in a CSV, via APIs or webhooks. So definitely, like you can set certain rules on the basis of which you want which data to flow into your system, and we kind of impose those rules on the data received.
Got it. I think that was really helpful. I think we have a last question that we can pick is how frequent the sync frequency feature work?
It's pretty simple. Like, what basically happens is that you just give us a predefined, you can select any predefined sync frequency format which we have, which is a daily frequency or thrice in a week or a weekly one. Or you can also give us any custom sync frequency because in enterprise clients, Harshita, we have seen that daily, sometimes 3 to 5 times syncing is done by some of our clients, right, for enterprise.
Oh,
So we also can accept like certain predefined or custom sync frequencies. And what basically happens is on that frequency, we fetch the data from the system, check for updates. If there are any updates, we provide it to you. That's pretty much it.
that's great. But what's the standard usually which sync frequency happens for the industry is? Like,
It's
is
daily.
there
Like
fixed?
it's daily because primarily we are dealing in the enterprise TG as well. So over there, the influx and outflux of employees are huge and happen on a daily basis, right? So that's the reason. Yeah.
But if I wanted like every 2 weeks, let's say, so does is it customizable in that way?
Yes, yes, definitely.
Perfect. Perfect. I think that's the end of the webinar. If you guys have any more questions, feel free to. Yeah, we have another one. How do we integrate HRMS with ERP?
Okay. So over here in this use case, right, what can be done? So which ERP, if you mind specifying, like what data from the HRMS do you
So,
want to
uh,
want from what data from the HRMS you want to flow into the ERP? However, how it would work is that basically in your ERP there would be certain post APIs, right? And we can populate the data from the HRMS APIs to the ERP APIs and then create certain customizations on ERP so that data from HRMS directly flows into ERP, which could help in financial planning, headcount analysis, etc. Because what data from HRMS we get, right? It also includes cost centers, group information, and usually, like in cost centers and business unit information, you can group the employees, see what all costs are getting there, do a complete financial planning analysis.
I think the question is why we give confidential data of HRMSs to the ERP. It's a follow-up question to the answer you've just given.
So it's on you, right? So when you're showcasing, you decide what data points you want to flow into the other system. So let's say if you're not comfortable with giving certain access of certain data points, it's on you. Like so, you if you deselect certain data points, those data points won't flow into your ERP.
Got it. Yeah. That I think solves the issue of the privacy and the confidential data as well. Great. Um, I think we have one more question. I think the QA and QA session is going really nice. So do you support custom APIs or only support the standard open APIs? I'm just one of
We support both of them. If it's a custom API, we usually take a kind of time frame of let's say a week to churn out that integration for you all. But if it's a standard open, like it's within 2 3 days we can kind of do it. If it's not in our coverage. Yeah.
That's great. Uh, sure. I think we can call it a wrap. if you have any more question, if you want private session on a demo call 101, you can reach out to me, or you can write us at support@tartanhq.com. I'll just drop down the email ID here in the chat box. Feel free to reach out to us if you have any questions, and if you want to have a live demo. And thank you so much, Saran, for joining us, giving us the live demonstration and a very good case study. Um, it was really nice. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Ashita, for organizing this.
Thank you. Bye bye.
Bye. Good day. Bye, all.